Angel Reese was older, I would have gotten on her about what she just said. Because I would have been like, how naive can you be?
The newest comedy series, starring none other than Angel Reese, has the WNBA completely enthralled. Has recently proclaimed her intention to defeat Caitlin Clark, as though someone is about to overthrow Clark, a living legend, who has been preoccupied with pretending to be hurt and sobbing over sideline drama, not to mention her whiny rants about pay that isn't great. Angel has now been declared officially delusional.
Angel Reese is a wonderful player, but she does not compare to what and who Caitlin Clark is when she's on the basketball floor. Plain and simple.
To be honest, it's absurd. How does she believe she can outperform Clark, the athlete who is making history each season? Making fun of herself is the only thing Reese has mastered thus far. However, hey, perhaps she's winning prizes for being so pitiful. It certainly appears that way. Prior to Reese speaking about, she might want to verify her reputation before taking over the WNBA. She won't change coaches. The high point, she must first change her mindset.
And look, Angel Reese, there's nothing that she does where you go, did you see her?
According to reports, Angel Reese believes that working with LeBron James's trainer, David Alexander, will magically change her into women's basketball's next big thing. Yes, of course, as though working out with one of the top trainers in the world is. Please transform Reese into a superhuman capable of overthrowing Caitlin Clark. Reese is out there doing. In any case, Caitlin Clark is actively honing her shooting and playmaking skills while honing her overall movement patterns. When striving to be the best player on the court, you know what matters most. Good luck. While you're working on whatever it is, Angel Clark is honing the abilities that have already left you in the dust. Although Reese had a brief but enjoyable tenure at LSU, believing that she is on par with Clark is akin to declaring that I'm approximately to release a new record following 5 minutes of singing in the shower. That isn't competitive. It's diluted. Perhaps Reese was LSU's queen, but Clark, without a doubt, she is the basketball queen. Reese is out here discussing. Caitlin is already out here reinventing the entire game, surpassing Clark. However, please tell me more about your condition, Reese. You're going to overthrow a legend before you've even had any professional experience.
For me and Camilla, this is the most we've ever lost in our life. I only lost 7 games in my last 2 years at LSU. So, it's been hard for me. But adjusting and just kind of have that mindset of, just moving on has been something I try to give myself a little bit of grace.
Let's go back to the 2023 NCAA championship. Now, I take it you recall it. Reese is frantically attempting to steal. With that juvenile taunt, Clark shines and flips the "you can't see me" gesture back into Clark's face. Yes, that was a moment, but for all the wrong reasons. Reese was occupied with using her hand movements to play WWE. Reese was easily outscored by Clark, who was still the best player on the court. Reese's major action, a pathetic attempt to gain attention by attempting to take center stage for a little period of time. 5 seconds, Reese was merely trying to get attention, while Clark was too preoccupied with creating history. I can't make this stuff up.
There is no one like Caitlin Clark in the history of the WNBA.
In relation to statistics, what about Reese's WNBA debut? To put it mildly, there was nothing to write home about. When Caitlin Clark enters the game, she lights up the league with an average of 19.2 points and assists like she's been participating in the WNBA for several years. Reese, in the interim, 13.6 points every contest. That is nearly 6 fewer than Clark's. Just in case anyone missed it. Oh, and don't forget, with 8.4 assists per game, Clark led all rookies. Reese, what were you doing? I'm still trying to figure out how to shoot consistently. She did her best, after all. Let's now discuss the Rookie of the Year honor. With ease, Clark accepted that award. Not even close. Reese, in the interim, she simply made it to the finals, which at this point sounds like a participation award. Not only did Clark emerge victorious, but she also demonstrated that she was prepared to rule the league. Reese, she is attempting to catch up out here.
But they still ask you about Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
What is your stance on that?
So my whole thing was when I got drafted, number 7. So I'm like, cool. The pressure is not even on me because I'm drafted 7, so the pressure shouldn't be up there. So I'm like, all right, cool, I could just hoop. So I don't know when like it started to just break out where I was just in rookie of year conversations. I'm like, all right, cool.
It's because you started killing it.
Well, yeah.
And they're like,
But hold on. Things improve. Reese's life off the court has truly turned into a circus. She signed a deal for signature shoes with Reebok. Whoa, that's revolutionary. A shoe contract for someone who hasn't even demonstrated her ability to regularly perform at the best possible level. Yes, let's celebrate that, Reese. Clark is out here altering the game with each action she takes. Reese, too, she is interested with sharing her lifestyle on Instagram. It's adorable. However, good luck if you believe that will help you defeat Clark that I would start concentrating on basketball if I were you. And not how many likes your postings receive. However, because Reese liked discussing money, let's talk about it. She's out here showcasing her WNBA's salary of $73,439 and discussing the high cost of living. Honey Reese, you don't really reside in a Beverly Hills property, and perhaps it's time to improve your budget. Clark is taking care of her business in the meanwhile, obviously unconcerned with the price of a Starbucks espresso, instead concentrating on the game. Let's actually discuss this now. Unparalleled League, where Reese hopes to get her big break. In January 2025, this 3x3 league is scheduled to begin with 34 of the best players in the world. Indeed, it's a significant issue. All these top athletes are coming together. Reese, too. She is entering a den of lions. Look, I understand. For the 8-week season, she will receive $250,000. Which is a significant improvement from her pitiful $81,000 annual WNBA wage. Yes, that's good, but here is the issue. She is competing against players who are entirely different. Money isn't the only factor. Regarding the news, it's about real performance. Additionally, Reese's performance doesn't scream right now. I'm prepared to compete. IT yells, I need a lot of work. This is where it gets even more juicy. Reese is joining a league that includes some of the world's most gifted athletes. You might have your goals set, Reese, on the spotlight, but when it comes time to perform, the focus will be on those who can truly bring it. Reese is going to have a hard wake-up call if she believes that just turning up and having fun would make her the next big thing. Make a call. This has already been called an overestimation by critics, and to be honest, they may have a point. Yes, this league will be thrilling and full of elite players, but Reese isn't anywhere close to the quality of players who have demonstrated their abilities at that level. Therefore, even though she may be exposed, she might also be revealed. When you're up against the best, there's no hiding if Reese doesn't improve. One thing this league might accomplish is show how far behind Clark she is, and perhaps even emphasize how, before she is on the same playing field, there is still a long way to go.
So I think it's really just the fans, her fans, the Iowa fans, now the Indiana fans that are like, they ride for her. And I respect that respectfully, but sometimes it's very disrespectful. I think there's a lot of racism when it comes.
Here's a reality check. Reese may boast about outperforming Clark all she wants, but in the end, they are merely words. Talk is cheap, and it won't help her in any way. To play basketball professionally, you wish to take on the greatest. You must be talented enough to support it. Reese's lips is currently working harder than her game. She makes all these audacious assertions, but the issue is, she lacks the abilities to make them a reality. Clark has already demonstrated her authenticity. And Reese is still in the I'll get there someday stage. Not to be overlooked is the fact that Reese is working out with Clark is still working hard and putting in the work that matters, making him one of the greatest in the industry. Being the best is not something you can purchase. You can't simply work out with the best trainer and hope to be capable of defeating a legend. IT requires years of commitment, persistent work, and above all, talent. Clark is creating history every day while Reese is busy receiving coaching on her general movement patterns. Each time she enters the court, when Reese declares that she will overthrow Clark, what does it mean? Let's just state the one thing. she will be overthrown from reality. This unparalleled league, yes, it's a fantastic chance for Reese to gain some visibility. But let's face it, it might also be the location where she and Clark diverge. Becomes even more painfully apparent. Talking about taking over is simple when no one poses a serious threat. However, things become difficult when you face real elite competition. Additionally, Reese is still much behind Clark's level as of right now. If she doesn't improve and quit pretending that she won't be the one to overthrow her, but rather a footnote in Clark's quest.